So today what I've got here is a very high quality lock that I'd like to share with everyone. Unfortunately, I will not be giving this away or trading this because this lock is very special to me. And so this is the MIWA U9 lock cylinder, as I probably already said, and it's very high quality. If you take a look over here, the rosette is very nicely made. There are no sharp corners anywhere here, except for the back, but that's okay. The face is perfectly flat. There's no random dents or divots. And the keyway is very nicely made. You can see there's no random dents. It's just perfect. So anyhow, if you take a look at this, the reason why this is so special is, first of all, if you take a look at the keyway, you can see it's not your conventional keyway. Next thing is, if you take a look at the keys look more or less like this. Or actually, they do look exactly like this. Now, as you can tell, there are individual depths and spaces in which the discs inside this lock would fall into. Now, the way it works is that there are 9 individually placed U-shaped discs, hence the name U9, and each one of these discs have a true gate and a false gate. And so the way this works is, when you insert the key, as you can tell, when you insert the key, every single one of the discs will be moved to different positions. If you have the proper key, all of the true gates will align, so this way a sidebar can fall into the true gates and the key can turn. So that's how it works. Works much like an alloy, or more specifically a dome diamond, because of the fact that the discs are spring-loaded, as opposed to an alloy, which has absolutely no springs whatsoever, except for in the Protect 2, but that's different. So anyway, as you can tell, this lock works really smoothly. It turns very nicely. Now, if you have the improper key, or if the key is not properly inserted, the discs will be moved out of place, and because of the fact that there is no shear line made by the true gates, the sidebar can't fall in, thus blocking the cylinder from turning. So that is the basic principles of operation. Now, I'm going to dive into more about the quality of the lock. Now, the locks, these cylinders are really good. Just putting the key in there, you can feel it's very smooth. You can just listen to this, guys. Hear that? That's very smooth. That's incredibly smooth. Now, when you turn the key, I want you guys to listen to this again. This is actually going to show you guys how tight the tolerances are in this lock. That's one way to see, actually. When you turn the key, hear that? There's no grinding noise. It's very smooth. This means that the hole was perfectly centered, perfectly circle, and that everything is working smoothly because of the fact that it's very precisely manufactured. So this is one way to tell how tight the tolerances are. Another thing is, when you try to lift the plug also and move it left to right, there's not too much movement. That's another way to show that the tolerances are great. Now, if you take a look over here a little bit closely, if you guys can see, the keyway and the key can also show you the tolerances of this lock. The keyway it's got really tight tolerances as well. If you take a look at the key and you slide it in, I'm not sure how well you're going to see this, but when you put the key in, okay, you'll notice that the key doesn't wobble too much inside of the keyway. This is a good indication that you've got a very good tight tolerance keyway lock. And so this is why I really like this MIWA lock. Now, unfortunately, with every single lock, there are some flaws in the design. Now, this lock is very high security in the fact that it's very difficult to pick. I'm pretty sure it's impossible to bump, and it's very difficult to just open non-destructively. However, these MIWA U9 lock cylinders have a few vulnerabilities, and that is with destructive entry. Now, these locks, I'm not really sure how strong these discs are, and so because of the fact that these discs are kind of thin metal, if someone were to apply very heavy pressure onto the lock and they would use a tool that's shaped like a key but it's made of steel, they could open this much like the smart key. That's only a theory. I haven't tried it, and I don't have unlimited MIWA locks to try it on. In fact, this is the only one. So that's one thing. But the second thing, the main thing about this is that I've actually taken a look and I don't see any drilling protection whatsoever. I've looked in every single one of the diagrams and none of them show drilling protection. So if someone were to gain entry to your cylinder and they really wanted to gain entry, they could drill through that lock cylinder and not have any problems, because once you drill that sidebar, it's game over. The lock is open. Now the next thing is, I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you take a look, the only thing that would be holding this lock cylinder in the lock case are literally two rods. Now there's one hole for the bottom one and there's one hole for the top. Now the way it works is that you would put the cylinder in. It has a spring-loaded brusette, so this way it would suit perfectly for doors that are thick, or doors of various thicknesses. And so the way it works is you'd push this in, you'd put the steel rods in, you hammer it into place, and it stays there. One problem with it is that the strength of the steel rods are questionable. If you were to take a crowbar or something like a Rex tool or something to pull the cylinder out, what would happen is that you could actually break either the steel rods, or you can break this tiny area of metal, and the lock cylinder will come out, and then you can use a screwdriver and open it. So other than those things, other than the destructive entry attacks, these locks are pretty darn good. The quality is very good. The tolerances are great. The material is perfect. I'm not exactly sure what it's made of. I'm pretty sure it's made of some sort of nickel-plated brass or something like that. But I have to say, it's very high quality. It's got a good weight to it. And I recommend it a lot for your collection. For door security, it's decent. But I don't recommend it if you're going to look for something that's absolutely going to need to be high security, because there's no drilling protection and there's not too much protection against destructive entry. So great for the collection, but for the front door, maybe it might be better to use something else. But anyhow, it's still a great lock. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and like this video, comment if you'd like, and yeah, that's all there is to it. Thank you very much for your time, and Merry Christmas if I haven't said that, and Happy New Year.